I mean, honestly, like some people will always like a book better than a movie, and some people will like a movie better than a book. But like, I think that like we just did our best, the book, and honor the fans, and I think really make something that works even by itself. We all have believe that if you read the book and you saw the movie, that you wouldn't be thrilled. Like we really worked hard on that.
Yeah.
But I also saw the movie and then read the book. You wouldn't go, hold on, this isn't like you can really like you can do either because they're both really beautiful.
No, that's not really the case. Blake is back again, filing yet another request for sanctions. This might be the 7th or 8th time she's done this. Now, she's asking for sanctions related to a birth video that Wayfair provided during discovery. Blake claims the video they gave her isn't the one she remembers seeing, or that she doesn't recall watching it at all. When I first read this new motion, it immediately reminded me of the one she recently filed about the so-called smear campaign and the Signal chat messages. In that motion, she wanted the judge to say that the defendants couldn't even deny being part of a smear campaign simply because they used Signal and some of their messages were deleted. She argued that this proved bad intent and wanted the court to instruct the jury in her favor and award her damages. After Blake filed that earlier motion, Wayfair asked for more time to respond. They wanted to reply after submitting their summary judgment motions and receiving the other side's responses. The judge agreed and granted the extension, and Blake didn't object. That told me that the whole thing was likely for publicity, a way to stir attention rather than a serious legal effort. Because of the extension, Wayfair doesn't have to reply until late November or even December. Now, her latest motion about Jamie Heath and the birth video feels almost identical. I'm saying this because I've seen similar tactics before, in fact, in my own ongoing lawsuit. During summary judgment in my case, half of my claims were dismissed while the rest continued. We later asked the judge to reconsider part of the decision, and surprisingly, the judge agreed. That doesn't happen often and usually means the court might have made a mistake. Our reconsideration motion focused on constitutional issues, free speech, freedom to report, and the right to protest, all questions of law rather than fact. After everything was submitted, the opposing side filed a temporary injunction asking the court to silence me completely. They argued that my reporting caused them problems, forced them to delete their social media, and created hostility. They even denied being under federal investigation, although evidence showed otherwise. Their lawyer in California had admitted in court that there was an active federal investigation, with the FBI sending a target letter and seizing assets. This kind of sudden motion often happens when a party realizes they're about to lose. It's a last-minute attempt to sway the judge or shift the story. Blake's current situation feels the same. She's facing a crucial judgment on the pleadings that could wipe out her harassment and retaliation claims. She also failed to file the proper paperwork with the EOC or name the correct employer in her lawsuit. If she loses, she seems to be setting up a narrative that it's not her fault. It's because the other side supposedly hid evidence. Her new motion for sanctions claims that Jamie Heath didn't give her the birth video she remembers. But given her history of changing stories and making false claims, this feels like another attempt to control the narrative rather than pursue the truth. Now, by demanding that the court release or review this personal video, Blake may be putting Natasha Heath in an uncomfortable position. If a longer version exists and it includes private, intimate footage, Blake's push to make it part of the record could violate someone's privacy. Still, she's asking the court to punish Jamie Heath under Rule 37 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure for supposedly failing to comply with an earlier order to turn over materials. In the end, it all feels familiar, another round of legal drama from Blake, another attempt to create a public story that distracts from the real issues in her case. The situation centers around a video taken by Mr. Heath that showed his wife during the home birth of their child. According to Miss Lively, she was shown this video on the set of a film without any warning or consent. She says the clip she was given later in the lawsuit is not the same one she saw that day. The video Wayfair turned over was only about 3 minutes long and completely blacked out, making it impossible to see what is actually in it. Because of that, she insists the version produced in court is not what she remembers watching. For weeks, Mr. Heath's lawyers claimed they did not have any other recording. Then, during his deposition, Mr. Heath apparently admitted that there might be more footage. Even after that, his legal team refused to hand over additional material, saying the court order required only that specific short video. Miss Lively argues that's wrong, because by showing her the original recording in the workplace, Mr. Heath made it part of the case. She believes the court and the jury should not have to take his word that the short, censored clip is the same one she saw. Essentially, she's creating a factual dispute. In court, that matters a lot, because if a case involves questions of fact rather than just questions of law, it must go to trial instead of being dismissed early. Miss Lively is saying her memory and Mr. Heath's version don't match. That disagreement alone could keep her case alive. She claims that withholding the full video prevented her from properly questioning him during his deposition, which hurt her ability to prove her claims. Her description of what happened is that Mr. Heath began playing a video showing a nude woman giving birth, and she thought he was showing her something inappropriate. He then told her it was a video of his wife giving birth at home. She says she asked whether his wife knew he was showing the video, and he brushed it off, saying his wife wasn't weird about that stuff. Feeling uncomfortable, Miss Lively and her assistant left the room. Wayfair, however, says the clip only showed a still image, that nothing explicit appeared, and that Miss Lively stopped the video almost immediately. The company's position is that it followed all court orders, turned over the exact clip described in its filings, and that there's nothing else to produce. From their perspective, they have fully complied with discovery. Miss Lively disagrees and has asked the judge to sanction Mr. Heath, meaning to punish him for refusing to turn over what she believes is the real video. She wants the court to order him to give her all versions of the footage within 3 days and to block him from testifying about the video so only her version would stand before a jury. Critics of her motion say it's less about fairness and more about strategy. By claiming there are factual disputes, she ensures the case can't be thrown out on legal grounds. In other words, she's trying to convince the judge that this issue is about conflicting memories rather than clear evidence. Some also view this as another public relations move, meant to shape the narrative that she lost access to vital evidence, not that her claims might lack proof. What makes the matter even more sensitive is that the video involves Mr. Heath's wife, Natasha, who is not part of the lawsuit. If the court were to grant Miss Lively's request, it could mean exposing private, intimate footage of someone uninvolved in the case. That's what makes this whole dispute feel uncomfortable and deeply personal. Ultimately, Miss Lively seems to be arguing that she can't fairly prove her case unless she receives the complete video, while others see her actions as another attempt to control the story and influence public perception. Blake is now claiming that the real birth video she remembers seeing has still not been provided to her. She insists that the clip she has isn't the same one that was shown to her on set. What makes this worse is that she's describing a deeply personal and emotional moment for Natasha Heath, the natural, unmedicated birth of her child, as if it were something inappropriate or indecent. By calling a sacred family moment pornographic, Blake has taken a powerful and intimate event and twisted it into something ugly. It's cruel and demeaning, especially toward Natasha, who had no part in this legal battle. Imagine being Natasha Heath. You aren't involved in the lawsuit at all, yet your most private experience is being dragged into court documents and talked about publicly. Blake has already insulted her in the past, calling her sloppy seconds because of how she met her husband, Jamie. But that story isn't even true. Natasha, a professional dancer, met Justin at a dance club where she was performing. Justin later invited her to a community event about spiritual growth, where people were learning about the Baha'i faith. He never dated her, nor was there any romantic interest. Through that community, Natasha met Jamie. They became close while participating in exercises that involved sharing personal stories and looking into each other's eyes, a reflective and emotional activity rooted in faith and understanding, not manipulation as Blake once described. Natasha's background is one of compassion and service. She helps women recover physically and emotionally after giving birth, working with mothers to support them through the postpartum period. She's proud of her cultural roots in South America and passionate about empowering women. Seeing her being mocked or humiliated in this way is heartbreaking. She doesn't deserve to have her story distorted or her body discussed in legal filings. What Blake is doing feels less about justice and more about revenge. She appears to be using this video controversy to target Jamie and Natasha because her case is weak. The evidence she has doesn't seem to prove her claims, so she's creating a new scandal to gain sympathy and attention. Even the audio recordings Blake referenced don't show anyone being abusive. Instead, they show Jamie under pressure, trying to manage the chaos she was causing during the film's production and protect the project from further damage. Leave a comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an update.